Welcome to Simply Mindful. I am your host, Maya. Today, we're diving deep into a subject that is arguably one of the most intimate yet powerful forces in our daily lives. It is something we often overlook, yet its impact on our reality is monumental. I'm talking about the incredible power of your self-talk, the internal dialogue you hold with yourself every single moment of the day. Think of this internal narrative not just as passing thoughts, แต่เป็นเสมือนโค้ดที่คุณเขียนลงไปในซอฟต์แวร์ของสมอง. It is the literal programming that determines what kind of identity your brain will construct for you. Every time you speak to yourself, whether it's a conscious thought or a subtle, subconscious whisper under your breath, your brain is listening. And it isn't just listening passively. It accepts your words as direct commands, shaping your very being at the structural level of your nervous system. It is fascinating and, frankly, a bit daunting when you realize the weight of your own words. Consider those sentences that might have become habitual for you. How often do you catch yourself saying, "I just can't do this," or "This is just the way I am"? To you, these might seem like harmless observations or fleeting moments of frustration, but from a neurobiological perspective, you are reinforcing a blueprint. You are cementing a command that your brain feels obligated to fulfill. You see, the brain operates through a mechanism often associated with what we call the repetition compulsion system. There is a fundamental principle in neuroscience that states, neurons that fire together wire together. The more frequently certain neural pathways are activated by your repetitive thoughts and words, the stronger and more efficient those connections become. The most critical part to understand is that your brain does not distinguish between an objective truth and a deeply held belief. It lacks a filter for reality versus narrative. If you feed it the same data repeatedly, "I am not capable, I am not smart enough, I am a failure," the neural circuits supporting those self-limiting beliefs will become incredibly resilient and dominant. It's as if you have a high-definition 3D printer housed within your cranium, constantly sculpting your identity based on the blueprints you provide through your speech. This isn't just about psychology, it's about biology and biochemistry. A simple shift in your phrasing can lead to vastly different physiological outcomes. Imagine you make a mistake and immediately say, "I messed up again, I'm so terrible at this." In response to this self-criticism, your brain triggers the release of stress hormones, primarily cortisol. This chemical surge makes you feel defeated, anxious, and discouraged. But more importantly, elevated cortisol levels can actually inhibit the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for learning and problem solving. You are literally blocking your own ability to improve. Now, consider the alternative. What if you shifted that narrative ever so slightly? "I didn't get it right this time, but I am in the process of learning." This subtle change in framing signals your brain to release a different cocktail of chemicals, including dopamine. Dopamine is associated with reward, motivation, and focused attention. It stimulates the neural pathways responsible for encoding new memories, and ส่งเสริมการเรียนรู้. It turns a moment of failure into a catalyst for growth. The difference is staggering. The way you choose to interpret an event through the language you use is often more significant than the event itself. It becomes clear that certain types of self-talk act like a silent, slow-acting poison. They erode your confidence and sabotage your brain's immense potential without you even realizing it. We must be particularly vigilant of phrases that sound permanent. For instance, "This is just who I am." When you say this, you are essentially telling your brain, "Do not change. Evolution is over." You are effectively slamming the door on the miracle of neuroplasticity, the brain's inherent ability to reorganize itself and form new neural connections throughout life. Another trap is the word "just," used as a tool for self-diminishment. "I'm just a shy person," or "I'm just not good at math." The word just acts as a signal to the brain that this trait is trivial or unchangeable. It settles for the status quo and dup phai hang rang jung jai tita patana. It keeps you small. And then there is the word must or should, words heavy with the weight of toxic pressure. I must be perfect. I should be better than this. While the intention might be to push yourself, this language often induces chronic stress. It puts your nervous system on high alert, which paradoxically reduces the efficiency of your executive functions. Instead of helping you perform better, it causes you to freeze. It's highly likely that many of us have been inadvertently sabotaging ourselves with these linguistic habits for years. But how do we break a cycle that is so deeply ingrained? Is it really as simple as changing our words? The answer lies in understanding that we are not just engaging in positive thinking or reciting hollow affirmations. We are intentionally choosing language that allows our brain to construct entirely new pathways.
Many people wonder, can simply changing a few words really alter the physical structure of the brain? The answer is a definitive yes. But it's important to clarify that we aren't just talking about surface-level positive thinking or repeating hollow phrases in front of a mirror. It is about the intentional selection of language that provides your brain with the psychological permission to build new neural pathways. Think of these linguistic shifts as precision tools for your mental architecture. The first shift I want you to practice is moving from I am to I am becoming. When you say, I am a fearful person, you are making a definitive statement of identity. You are telling your brain that this is a permanent, unchangeable characteristic. But when you reframe it to, I am becoming someone who is practicing courage, everything changes. The phrase, I am becoming, implies a continuous dynamic process. It signals to your brain that your identity is fluid, not fixed. It opens up a space for growth and tells your nervous system that change is not only possible, but currently in progress. The second tool is the power of the word yet. This is perhaps one of the most transformative words in the English language for fostering a growth mindset. Instead of saying, I'm not good at public speaking, try saying, I'm not good at public speaking yet. That one tiny word reaches deep into your subconscious and transforms a dead-end street into a path of development. It tells your brain that the current lack of skill is merely a temporary state, not a final destination. It keeps the door to neuroplasticity wide open, allowing your brain to remain curious and engaged in the learning process. The third linguistic shift is reclaiming your agency by using the phrase, I choose to. So often, we speak as if we are passive victims of our own emotions. We say, I'm so scared, I can't do this. I want you to try a more empowered approach. Acknowledge the feeling, but assert your choice. I feel scared, and I choose to take the next step anyway. When you use the word choose, you are actively engaging your prefrontal cortex. You are taking the reins from the reactive, emotional parts of your brain and putting the conscious, rational part in charge. You are signaling to your entire system that while you may feel an emotion, you are not controlled by it. You are the pilot, not the passenger. This isn't just about changing words on the surface. It's about changing the very signals you send to your biological hardware. By observing your negative self-talk and systematically replacing it with language that is open, expansive, and constructive, you are literally redrawing the blueprint of your mind. Every word you speak to yourself is an architect's line on the map of your future possibilities. Choosing your words with mindfulness is like adjusting the compass of your internal navigation system. It ensures that you are moving toward the version of yourself that you truly wish to create. And beyond just the words we speak, there is another dimension to this that is equally profound. It is the realm of our small, everyday behaviors, those tiny actions that we often perform without a second thought, yet they carry a hidden weight that shapes our deepest levels of self-confidence. In our next session, we will dive into how these micro behaviors interact with our self-talk to build or break our sense of self-worth. As we integrate these linguistic shifts into our daily consciousness, we begin to see a remarkable transformation not just in our thoughts, but in our somatic experience, the way our bodies actually feel and respond to the world. But there is a deeper layer to this neural architecture that we must explore. It is the synergy between the words we say and the small, almost invisible actions we take. In psychology, we often talk about cognitive dissonance. This happens when our self-talk and our actions are moving in opposite directions. If you tell yourself, I am becoming a disciplined person, but your micro behaviors, like hitting the snooze button 5 times every morning, contradict that statement, your brain becomes confused. The signals are crossed. The internal blueprint starts to feel like a lie. This is why, here at Simply Mindful, we emphasize the importance of aligning your language with what we call micro wins. When you pair the phrase, I choose to be productive, with the tiny action of making your bed or clearing your desk for 5 minutes, you are giving your brain physical evidence that your words carry weight. You are strengthening the neural pathways of trust within yourself. Every time your actions validate your simply mindful self-talk, your brain releases a small, rewarding pulse of dopamine. This chemical reward doesn't just make you feel good in the moment. It acts as a biological highlighter, telling your nervous system, this pathway is important. Keep building here. Over time, this alignment creates a state of congruence. You no longer have to struggle to believe in your own potential because your brain has a massive library of evidence supporting your new narrative. Think of your self-talk as the steering wheel of a massive ship. A small turn of the wheel might not seem like much in the first few seconds, but over the course of a long journey, that 1 degree shift determines whether you arrive at a destination of self-doubt or a destination of profound self-mastery. We must also address the role of the autonomic nervous system in this process. When we use harsh, self-critical language, we aren't just hurting our feelings, we are literally activating the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. Our bodies perceive our own self-criticism as an external threat. Our heart rate increases, our muscles tense, our breathing becomes shallow. We are living in a state of internal siege. But by practicing mindful self-talk, by choosing words of compassion and growth, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system. We signal to our bodies that it is safe to grow, to learn, and to rest. This is where true interoception comes into play. By becoming aware of how our words resonate in our bodies, the warmth of a kind word, the constriction of a harsh one, our language is the most powerful medical tool we possess. It is the medicine we administer to ourselves every single hour of the day. As we reach the conclusion of our journey today, I want you to take a deep, intentional breath. Realize that from this moment forward, you are no longer an unconscious participant in your own internal dialogue. You have the tools, you have the awareness, and most importantly, you have the power of choice. The relationship you have with yourself is the most fundamental relationship of your entire life. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. If you cultivate a voice that is encouraging, expansive, and rooted in the reality of growth, your brain will respond by building an identity that is resilient and full of possibility. Remember the shifts we practiced. Stop saying, I am, to your limitations. Start saying, I am becoming. Harness the infinite power of yet. It is the bridge between where you are and where you are destined to be. And finally, reclaim your agency. Replace I have to or I am forced to with I choose to. These aren't just semantic changes, they are tectonic shifts in the landscape of your mind. They are the signals that tell your nervous system that you are the master of your fate. Every word you speak to yourself is a brick. You are building a cathedral of self-worth, one sentence at a time. Be patient with yourself. Changing these habits takes time and consistent practice. But every time you catch a negative thought and gently reframe it, you are winning. You are proving to your brain that a new way of living is possible. I want to thank you for spending this time with me today at Simply Mindful. It is an honor to walk this path of growth alongside you. If this exploration of self-talk has sparked something within you, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Share this episode with someone who might need to hear a kinder voice today, even if that voice is their own. I am Maya. Always remember, your words are the seeds of your reality. Plant them with intention, nurture them with mindfulness. Until we meet again, speak to yourself with love, stay present in the process, and keep being simply mindful. Goodbye for now.